Nguyelo numandenga, nguyelo numandenga, nguyelo umandenga, ngumutilo
Hello, everyone, and welcome to the
wesiswati.
AfricaNEV podcast. My name is Ghana Shabo, and in this podcast, we talk about sustainable energy and transport for Africa. And today, we want to talk about AFTA, the recently launched African Continental Free Trade Agreement. And to discuss that with us, we have our special guest, Idris Yusuf from Nigeria. Idris, welcome to the AfricaNEV podcast.
Thanks for having me. I'm great to be here.
Great to have you too. So I think you have some slides. Let me share screen. Then we can it's okay. So over to you.
Okay. Good morning, everyone. I'm Idris Yusuf, the founder of AfricaNEV.com, and I'm here today to talk about the AFTA, which is African Continental Free Trade Area, which launched January 1, 2021. And I would like to talk about some basic opportunities and things that can actually make it so practical for the people to key into the whole free trade area that has been launched. So I will start with the first slide. Actually, I have 8 slides here now. So I'll start with the first one. Uh, what is AFTA all about? So African Continental Free Trade Area actually stands for that's AFTA actually stands for the African Continental Free Trade Area, or in some places, some will want to call it agreement. It's actually an agreement, but that agreement will be used across a specific geographical zone, which is based on the people who actually sign into that particular agreement. So uh, the people who can sign into it are countries that are actually member states of the African Union. So, and we have 55 member states of the African Union, but only 54 have signified interest by signing to be part of it. Only Eritrea uh, is not has not signed to be part of it at all. So, also, I think we will get to that point. But basically, what is bringing about the after, which is after the Continental Free Trade Area, is actually because of the Agenda 2063 of the African, which have to do with creating an integrated and most prosperous Africa, driven by its own people, which are Africans. So that agenda has a target for 2063, and for you to meet up with that 2063, there are a couple of projects that have to come up. Some of them are small, some are major. So those major ones are actually called the AU flagship projects, and this after is one of it. Another one is like the Pan African University, single passport, having a single airline, uh, you know, a couple of projects like that are flagship, but after is actually one of the flagship projects. So that is why we are here today, and it has been launched. So it's a market that has a size of it has a market size of 1.3 billion people, which is the combined population of all the people in the 55 African countries. That's the potential of that market. Also, a combined GDP of 2.6 trillion is the market opportunity which we can have. So it's all about looking at this potential in terms of size of people who can consume products, services, and can move around Africa. Because after we take care of three things, as it's on now. It will take care of movements of goods, movement of services, which is and transaction of services between the member states, and actually also moving people within these states within Africa. So those are the three things that it will majorly uh, take care of. Next slide, please. So, while now, okay, yeah, we're on this next slide. So this slide actually is talking about the countries that are involved in the Continental Free Trade Area. Now, this is a little bit technical because that you are a member state does not mean you key into the agreement. So what has happened in the last few years is to give the opportunity to each member state to signify interest in the trade area. So what we have is 54 countries have signified interest that they want to be part of the trading bloc. After that, some it didn't happen all at the same time. You know, some came later, some came very early. So we got to the point of ratification, which happened till about December last year. Uh, so this particular ratification has to do with ratification means like a formal consenting to an agreement by the member states to say they actually want to be part of this through documents and others. So, and this has to be done in their countries, and at the same time, the instrument of ratification will be dropped at the African Union headquarters, which is in Addis. So, what has happened is at that level, we have 34 countries that have ratified and deposited their instrument of ratification with the that should be the trade division of the African Union. So we move on to countries that have submitted tariff offers. So this is about trade, and in trade there are tariffs that have been the major things that have affected the level of trading within within African countries. So the tariffs, what is supposed to happen within the agreement is to submit tariff offers, which will show the timeline of bringing down the tariffs, because the tariffs are not going to come down to zero, like say January 1, 2021. No, the tariffs are not going to come down to zero. So they will start at a point and maybe gradually, then maybe in 5 years, for some countries 5 years, for some countries 10 years. So it will be gradually reduced until it gets to zero, maximum 10 years for 90% of the items that will be traded within this agreement. So some items will not be part of it. So you need to know, for you to key into the opportunity, you need to know the items that can be traded under this agreement for your own country. So you need to know what your country is offering as 90% of the items they want to offer in the free trade area. But the schedule for tariff offers has been done by 41 countries, and that has been submitted also with the African Union. Now, at this point, there are regional economic communities that submitted their own tariff offers together. So you could have a situation like the case of ECOWAS, Economic Community of West African States. So the countries within that region submitted their own together. So you need to look at it from that angle of why. That's one of the reasons where you have the number of countries that have submitted tariff offers to be more than the number of countries that have ratified. So because some people actually submitted as a group based on their region. So that's why you actually have that there. Please, the next slide.
Well, next slide.
So, yes. So the next slide is about the benefits of African Continental Free Trade Area to the people of Africa or Africans in diaspora. So there is a significant level of poverty that is occurring in Africa and especially in some communities. So there is a need to create more prosperity, which is one of the focal points of Agenda 2063. So for that to happen, it has been discovered that trade can actually increase these opportunities and actually help eliminate a particular level of poverty. So it is estimated that 30 million people will be um, lifted out of abject poverty and 68 million people out of moderate poverty. So a combination of the 68 million and the 30 million is almost very close to 100 million people who is estimated to be that is possible to lift them out of poverty if this agreement is well executed, the opportunities that will actually emanate from it. So apart from poverty reduction, you have increase in African trade, which is currently at 17%. So at that point of 17%, we're going to have more trade within Africa, and it's going to be an opportunity to, because we trade more with people who are outside Africa than trading with ourselves. So if this actually happens, trade will go up and go beyond the 17% which we currently have it. Also, the issue of job creation, because a lot of new opportunities, platform, product, manufacturing opportunities, marketing opportunities, product design opportunities, recycling, transportation, even just mere policy. A lot of opportunities are going to come up that are going to create jobs for the people. So the small scale manufacturing, there will be opportunity because there will be a wider market. People will now have, they will be able to do more small scale manufacturing, and the quality is going to improve because high skilled manufacturing is one of the opportunities that will come in this Africa Continental Free Trade Area. So if you know there's going to be a level of competition, you're going to have to step up what you're doing so that you can actually meet up with that. And that increases the level or standard of Africa as a whole. Now, you're going to have also increased integration within Africa because people are going to be moving. So we are going to start having a situation where culture and people integrate more and they'll be able to do business together more. And we'll have less division within the people of Africa as well as the businesses in Africa. So also, you're going to have increase in industrialization. So now, because with this opportunity, the new factories are going to spring up, new factories are going to be established to take care of those products and services, to take care of the opportunity, because a free trade area is technically useless if you don't have products to trade with. So people are now going to look at those products that we import from outside Africa to take advantage of this agreement. People are going to start looking at those products and creating them, as well as improving upon the ones that are already in existence within Africa. So also it's going to increase the foreign direct investment into the continent. So you have a situation where probably like Africans in diaspora bringing in funds to set up factories and set up industries within Africa. Also, people who have factories in other continents of the world are welcome to come into these African countries and set up these factories. And this has an overall positive effect on the people of Africa to create jobs and opportunities for the people. So next slide. Yeah, we move on to the alpha value chain. So for the value chain, there are a lot of people that would actually benefit from this free trade area. So you have manufacturers, for instance. So we manufacturers, people who set up a good and scalable factory will be able to key into product opportunities that emerge to create more products for the people of Africa, because these products are going to be more prominent and there will be more voice on making them move into other markets within Africa. So these factories know that they they now have a increased work to do, and the opportunities will increase with the free trade area. Also, marketers, especially people who have the skills to write copies that can be used in other markets. So, for instance, there are about four to six major languages, depending on what you want to use within Africa. So people can actually create marketing campaigns that can be used across the continent. We really have an opportunity. Also, product designers that can actually produce world-class designs. We have an opportunity within the market. Also, service providers. There are various services that will emerge, and people will want to key into some of these service providers to use their service. So anybody who's got service in this area of trade, it could be catalog, it could be just consulting, or trade facilitation. We really get some advantages within this space and opportunity. So now platforms. We're going to start having e-commerce platforms that can do that can list that we can list physical goods on B2B or B2C. Also, service providing platforms that can offer service listing of services will also be very good. Also, innovators will actually have a good market to start creating innovation for. Product managers, investors that want to bring in funds, logistics and warehousing people who want to move products across Africa, and also financial services. People who want to do with fintech companies that want to offer payment platforms. So all of this will give opportunities within the AFTA project, and I encourage Africans to key into any of these opportunities that they find passionate to themselves. Next slide. Okay, so we move. You want to say something?
No, I really like, okay. I'm keenly following. Yeah, I'm keenly following what you are saying.
Okay, great. So we move on to the e-commerce aspect. So because the geography and the distribution of people across Africa is quite big and massive, one of the easiest ways for you to actually reach people across Africa will be through platforms, which is definitely going to be like e-commerce. So e-commerce will really play a major role, but because e-commerce itself is good, but you need to have good policies and control over it. So one of the protocols in the AfTA agreement will actually be the e-commerce protocol. So we have other protocols like protocols on goods, protocols on services, protocols on e-commerce, protocols on intellectual property, protocols on competition, and others. So for the e-commerce, I think they said by end of 2021, it should be ready. Now they are more on protocols of goods. Protocol of services between March and July should be ready so that people know how this will actually work, because it's not going to be just like it used to be. There's definitely going to be a change to actually make people benefit. So the SMEs and the people generally, they need to be able to know the platforms that are available for them to list their products and services. So they can do it in two ways. So a merchant from Nigeria, for instance, can list his own product on his own website and do some level of digital marketing campaigns to target people in other African countries so that they can buy from him. But that will be individual efforts, and that will be done by individual companies. But you can take advantage of a pool, which is going to be a marketplace. So what the advantage of the marketplace is that there are a lot of merchants and there are a lot of products, and there's a likely possibility that more people will visit those sites. So at that point, you have more visits, and you have a market that will be more viable. So you can do it directly through your own e-commerce platform or through an e-commerce platform that is using a marketplace model. So in this case, in July 2020, AU partnered with AE Trade to launch the Sokoku.Africa platform. So the Sokoku.Africa platform is using a marketplace model, and they allow you get leads, they facilitate trade, they allow you get payment, then they are through AE Trust, then they allow through AE Trade Smart Logistics. They want to help you with logistics services. So it will also enable merchants to get leads of people who want to buy product from them from across Africa. Also, it can be like, say, end-to-end logistic payment and everything. But if you know you can handle that yourself, their platform also allows you to do that. So they partnered with them and launched it in July 2020. So that's one of the platforms. And people too might have their own means of showcasing their products to other parts of Africa. So, but we must be knowledgeable about the e-commerce, the way of using e-commerce, maybe through product photography, product pricing, communication skills, negotiation skills. These are skills that African SMEs will really need to know so that they can key into the e-commerce feature of the African Continental Free Trade Area. So what to sell is key. So for you to take advantage of any market, you must be able to sell what the people really need. So you need to know how to determine that and the way to change that when you need to change. So for instance, if you start with a product, it doesn't mean you have to be rigid on that product. Products might change or move with time. So you have to move as well so that you sell and make profit through specific products that people need across Africa. So you need to be ready to sell what people really want to buy. People will always need something, but be ready to sell what people really want to buy. So another thing is digital marketing skills. Africans need to have good digital marketing skills that can help them sell locally and across the border, and to be able to target their consumers on the underside. So they can do this through organic marketing or paid digital marketing. Also, market intelligence. There are tools, you can use tools and reports to actually know the products that are doing well on the other side. So those tools and platforms will help you to know what is selling very well on the other side. And we should be able to take advantage of it through marketing intelligence and data of trade. Yeah. All right, next slide. Okay, your national secretariat and continuous education. Okay, so here, what happens is that your national secretariat is actually your best source of information. So because they are the ones who know how your custom will work. They are the ones who know the rules of National Assembly that will work for African Continental Free Trade Area. They are the ones who know the organizations of the private sector. They are the ones who know what government wants to do to help the SMEs. So I would say a large portion, irrespective of the group you belong to online or the news you see online, the National Secretariat is the best source of information for your country. So also, you need to get involved in communities, online communities where people are engaging. But you have to also be careful because a lot of information will fly around at that point. So you can take anyone that you are not sure about, take it back to your national secretariat if you have an African national secretariat, or your Ministry of Trade. So any of the two will clarify that information for you. Also, you have to read the AFTA documents. The documents are the best source of knowledge. You can find them online or on the AFTA website. Now, you need to attend local and international events. Now, the importance of this event is actually that as things unfold, a lot of things will be changing as they meet and adjust specific part of the document and display the protocols. Attending this event will let you get some key knowledge. Then you can research yourself further to know the latest offerings of this agreement and key into them practically. So my advice is you follow these events, you follow these documents, you belong to communities that are relevant, and you liaise with your national secretariat for the latest of the information. Next slide. Okay, so for AFTA to work, there are some tools that have been built, and they are like what we call, they are websites. They are in form of websites, so that you can use them to aid what you want to do in terms of Africa Continental Free Trade Area. So I'll start with the AFTA website on AU. So the URL is there. They've built a website. For AFTA on AU website, a division for it. You can get all information, report, and everything from there. Also, Sokoku's website, the URL is there. You can visit and register to become a seller, start selling, or view to buy product, Indian African products. Number 3, the Africa Trade Observatory. So here, it helps to monitor the level of trade that is happening within the AFTA program. Then also the HS number of many products, you can find them there. Also reports as regard to monitor what is happening within AFTA in terms of data. This is what was built to let you key into that. So it's called the Africa Trade Observatory. It's a platform. The website is also there. The Trade Barriers Portal. So the Trade Barriers Portal is for you to report tariff and non-tariff barriers. So the tariff barriers tariff generally is a barrier. So the tariff will be coming down, then there is a schedule for it. So you can say anything you want to say about that you're not sure, whatever. In your own country, maybe when they are not supposed to be using something, they are still using it in terms of tariff levels. So you can use that site to report it or talk about it. Then non-tariff barriers like discrimination or non-compliance with the agreement or the policy in those divisions. So if you know that at your entry or exit point within your country, the policies and documents are not being followed. So the trade barriers to Africa is the tool you will use to report that to the people who are in charge, so that they can actually liaise with the AFTA secretariat in Accra, Ghana, and work on how to make it smooth. It's a feedback point.
Okay.
Also, you have the AFTA app, which is the app built for this project. And I think there is an AU unit with the AFTA secretariat and the I think Sankore Institute or maybe an Afro Champions. I think they did a combination or a partnership at that point to come up with that app. So the app is also generating the AFTA number for entrepreneurs. I don't know where that will come in, but everything will be harmonized as we go on. So that number maybe to be used by SMEs or individuals just to be able to track everything that is going on within the trading block. So these are the tools that have been built into this trade area to actually make it work, monitorable, let me put it that way, to make it, to enable people to enable institutions to monitor it, to enable them know what is really happening and to know where interventions need to come in to actually make this work for everybody. Next slide. Logistics and payment within, okay. So the smart warehousing and logistics. Logistics and payments are actually two very important things within this trading agreement, because the physical goods and even the movement of people need to be facilitated through logistic channels, and we need to pay for services. And because we are dealing with people in another African country, we don't know the people we are dealing with sometimes. So the payment system, what is happening is that there are platforms, for instance, the EE Trust. They are they are building their own finance. Let me put it as a fintech solution.
Payment system. Okay. They're building their own payment solutions.
System, yes.
Yeah.
Payment solution.
A bit like Alipay and whatnot.
Yes. Within their system to serve like various purposes, but one to serve like an escrow.
Okay.
So
when they are intermediaries, a bit like
yes,
a transaction intermediary, so that to bring trust
for
two and third parties. I got
it. Yes, correct, absolutely correct. So that there will be no issue of somebody collected somebody's money and he did not deliver the item. So when the money is paid,
I'm quite so far, but that opens a whole can of worms in my mind, because all of a sudden I'm thinking about the existing banking and financial system, how they play into that, because it seems that either this is adjunct or it sits on top of the existing banking system. But please continue.
Yes, they will actually the payment. There are rules and regulations that will guide payment within the block too. So what they want, the banks that want to play within this structure will make their offers known. The platforms that want to key into it will also make their offers known. The other thing is the SME must avail themselves the opportunity to look into these solutions and interact with their secretariat to know the one that has been approved, so that there would be no issue of also trying to run away from fire and getting into fire by not using an unauthorized platform or institution to run an after transaction. So for the smart logistics, you have smart warehousing in some cases, like the logistics, they are working on smart warehousing and bringing a lot of logistic partners together. So if you know any partner too that is telling you they built a solution or a particular product, a particular logistic product specifically for after, you can key into it. So payment, yes, AHS payment and others. Custom documents, you need to know the custom documents that the custom of your country wants to collect. There are a couple of them. You need to ask your secretariat, they will tell you everything. They want to help you because they want you to export. They will give you everything. So you will now be able to interface with customs and know the ones you have, the ones you don't have, and that you need to start working on, or the one you will need per transaction. Also, rule of origin. This is very important because you are going to be selling made in Africa products. So they want to be sure that a large percentage of the product was made in Africa. You need to model your business and ensure that you are true to presenting and declaring the product in such a way that it shows that percentage, and they know that it was truly made in Africa. And this will really help you because you get used to it as an SME and you can sell your product freely. Also, the tariff schedules. You need to know the tariff schedules, how they will happen. Year 1, year 2, year 3, until maybe year 5 or year 10. So you need to know and plan your business accordingly. Unfortunately, and when we say fortunately, you cannot wait till when the tariffs come down to zero before you start taking part in after or taking advantage. You need to be there now because a whole lot of experience is needed in this kind of thing and generally in trade. So if you wait till when tariffs come to zero, I'm not sure you'll be able to trade competitively with somebody who has 10 years experience in the block. So you're going to be starting your own experience at that particular point in time, and they would have gained traction and then brand name at that particular point in time. Next slide.
Isn't this slide?
So thank you. Thank you for giving me this opportunity to say all I have within this short period of time. So I'll be ready to answer any question that that is needed to be answered at this particular point in time. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Idris. Thank you very much for that presentation. I did get the feeling that this is a very condensed introduction to a very involved topic, because some of the slides, when I look at the slide itself is a it's a presentation all on its own. So thank you very much. I do have some questions. Basically, some simple questions for now.
Okay.
You did speak about in one of the slides you have put. Okay. You spoke about signature. This slide. Okay, this slide. You spoke about signatories, ratified members, and members that have submitted tariffs. All right.
Okay.
I want you to clearly explain to us the differences between a signatory and somebody who has not has ratified and then somebody else has submitted a tariff. You did say that the reason why the number of signatories, ratified members and the those who have submitted tariffs do not match is because some people are part of a block, a sub-regional block like ECOWAS or whatever, that's
Yes.
submitted tariff schedules. But what's the difference in practical terms between a signatory to the free trade area and somebody, a country that has ratified?
Okay. So,
In layman's terms.
yes. So, when a product or service or a corporation is being started, like a company, you will notice that some people will show up and they will say, "This is a good idea. This is a good idea. This is a good idea. Oh, I want to be part of it." Some people will say they don't
With
want
their
to be
mouth.
part of it. Yes. So some people will just come with the amount and say, maybe they say they should write attendance. They will just write at least to make the numbers. Then they will go and check later and make stakeholder they will make consultations, or they will go and check if they need to make some preparation. And if they consult and they find out that they don't need to be part, or they don't need to be part now, they will signify. You will know at the last stage. That is one. Two, for the agreement to really happen, these are serious agreements
Yeah.
on something you want to, and marriages that you want to do for a very long time. So you don't want a situation where the important points are not well stated, because you can start having problem even from year one. Something you want to do for 50 years that is already having problem in the first year. So the ratification has to do with what really makes you key into the agreement, and the sanctions that can happen when you don't do specific things. Maybe when things don't start paying you, you can't just say maybe you want to pull out. You look at provisions within the agreement that can help you. You understand? Because one thing about trade is that because it is trade, it doesn't mean to start paying everybody. Some things will happen, and it might go good for you. It might not go too well as you expected. So there are provisions also within the area, like I think the $1 billion fund floated to help absorb shocks in smaller countries. So some of those provisions have been built in. So for the difference in numbers, the ratification and instrument of ratification is a legal document that has been submitted to state that I want to be part of this marriage. You understand? Or I want to be part of this trading bloc. So that's why it's like it's a very important document. So you can see that the number is the lowest. But also the 41 you have there, which is tariff offers. So tariff offers have to do with custom tariff offers, the tariff you use in your country. Now, at that point, many the recs decided to submit at the regional level. So for ECOWAS, for instance, ECOWAS submitted as a unit. So when you say ECOWAS submit as a unit, it means with all the countries under
ECOWAS
ECOWAS.
members.
So yeah, the ECOWAS members. So you can find a situation where somebody has not submitted their own instrument of ratification, but because they've submitted tariff offers, a tariff
Sub-regional group.
offer for the regional group. So that person will be checked. They will check, the box will be checked for that person to have submitted tariff offer, but not to have submitted a ratification document. So these are things we need to continue to encourage people to do that, because doing that will mean the trade bloc will be big enough and take advantage of the potential it can actually give. But not signing it will mean, I know, as an agreement, that means they are not part of it.
Wait,
So,
but what you are saying, the implication of it is that it's possible that a country that has not formally ratified or is even a signatory to the Continental Free Trade Agreement can benefit, at least when it comes to tariff structure, from the Free Trade Agreement because that country is part of a sub-regional grouping. Maybe the South Africans, the Southern African bloc, or Eastern Africa, or West Africa, or Northern African bloc.
Yes.
It's possible.
Yes, but
so Eritrea, for example,
that. Hello?
I'm saying, so Eritrea, for example, can actually benefit from the tariff structure because Eritrea is part of, I'm sure, the East African regional bloc.
Yes, but this is, from what I know that when they are talking in forums, they say we encourage other countries to ratify. You understand? To my understanding, that is the only thing that makes it concrete that they want to be part of this. You understand? And take full benefit of it.
Yeah,
because
but there is no. Anyway, I'm not the lawyer, but it seems to me, logically speaking, that you can have a situation where a country is committed to their sub-regional grouping, but it's not yet decided or is indifferent at the time to the Continental Free Trade Agreement.
Continental, yes. You know the stuff that is available at the regional level. There has been, I need to speak about this a bit. What has been available before at the regional level? People have been doing trading at the regional level. This kind of African free trade is actually, maybe not with all the specific provisions, so it has actually been available at the West Africa level of ECOWAS, yes, trading with each other. But you will now notice that the issues, the fears of some countries is actually the issues that itself has faced, maybe with people not complying with specific rules and regulations. You understand? And I think that at this point, the fear for some countries is preparedness. It also has to do with, won't that issue come to the continental level? And if we don't have people who can check it or deal with it, there will be a problem. And that raises some level of skepticism. But that is why you now have the provisions like the trade barriers and other tools, which are being monitored by experienced stakeholders to intervene when there is a problem, so that this thing is averagely stable for everybody or good for many. I'm not sure it's going to be.
I get what you're saying, but I have a couple of pushbacks. Right now, I was going to ask a very detailed question, but I think for now it's better to stick at the high level. We have all heard about Brexit.
I'm listening.
We have heard about Brexit.
Yes.
It's because
okay, so
the British, or enough of the British at the time, thought that economic marriage is not working for them. I mean, or at least the price is too high in terms of independence. The AfTA agreement, know that it goes a bit beyond the average trade agreement. It's a bit more than that. It is also true that it is going to be the biggest free trade area on the planet. It is also true that population of 1.3 billion is going to double by the 2050s. And it is
Okay.
also true
Yes.
that our
Because of our
population
population
good
increase.
is going to be the youngest at that time. So the most
Yes.
vibrant.
Yes.
So the potential and the opportunity is enormous. However,
Yes.
let's come to brass tacks. We are both ECOWAS citizens. Let me put it that way.
Yes.
I am from Ghana. We are from Nigeria. So we have lived our lives under the ECOWAS regime.
Yes.
We have seen on the ground practically the realities
Yes.
and the challenges. We have had instances where your country, Nigeria, have erected barriers which some
Yes.
argue are in contravention of the ECOWAS free trade protocols. True or false?
You see,
And
that
I don't
let
know
me
for a
let
fact.
me let me say something there, because basically for this particular session, I'm not involved at the political level.
No,
I
no,
will
I'm not talking about political level. See, we are talking
yes,
about
I will only talk about
how it can translate.
so,
No, you see,
yes. So let
we are.
me let me come in.
Mhm.
Let me come in there. You see, the issue that brought about that, sincerely, Nigeria as a country has tried to uh, be a good neighbor, and everybody has tried. But unfortunately, there are issues with stakeholders. So when I say stakeholders, it has to do with businesses themselves in actually following rules. So, and you see, this is the bad part. When few things happen that are not good,
Mhm.
they seem to spoil the whole thing that
Yeah,
is
I get it.
the whole provision that is good. You understand? So
Mhm.
if people will actually follow rules, which is what we pray for AfricaNEV free trade area, a lot of things will work. Let me give you an instance to show you the interest and the stuff Nigeria really wants to obey as regards after AfricaNEV free trade area. Some days before the January 1, the borders, well, the instruction was to open three major borders, and even those are like the major entry points into Nigeria.
Well, the one that have been
The
closed for I
president,
think over a year or so.
yeah, quite
Okay.
beyond that, and you know, it was like nobody knew it was going to be opened, but when you sign an agreement like this, you have to obey.
It
And one of it
constrains
is
you.
to open, yes, you have to open your borders, which the president obeyed, and that's very good of the president. Now, what I think should happen is there are two. One, the SMEs and the large corporations should try as much as possible to obey the rules. One. Then number two is to use the provisions that will protect each nation. This for we don't want to have a situation like Brexit in Africa too. We want we're not saying what they did is bad in Brexit, or it's freedom. They want to have their freedom, and it's
Yeah.
not a bad idea. But going through that whole time of I want to leave this block, I want to this, it's too much, and it brings so much division in opinion among the people. So what we will want to have in Africa is, let's look at a situation where we also start manufacturing for the rest of the world. We will even find that there are opportunities. You understand? So the issue, one of the biggest components of getting more prosperity into your region, either as a country or as a continent, is actually to manufacture for others. You will see that you will not complain about somebody's job being taken By the time we come together and we unite and we produce enough for ourselves and for others, it's like you are rich, I'm rich. We are manufacturing for one other continent or so, yeah, and they are benefiting because we are manufacturing for them, and we are also okay. When that is happening, you will see that you will forget that the agreement is not working. But if due to our marriage, I'm now getting richer, and you are getting richer, I'm not getting enough. There will now be issues of maybe it's the marriage that is even making me not to make enough again. So I want us to look at it on a wider perspective and play globally too. See AfTA as an opportunity to play globally and be in the Committee of Nations at that very good level of manufacturing and production of goods and services. So once we can do that, we will find out that things will be better. It's not like the population of Africa is 1.3 billion, and the population of the world is about at least more than 7 billion. So what are we doing for the rest of the world? About 5 billion. These are questions.
You see, the data is clear. As of 2017, Africa, we were doing like 70% of our trade is within amongst us. Okay, which is woefully low because other countries are doing 50 and over. But what is interesting about that trade? Hold on. What is interesting about that trade is that, generally speaking, the intra-African trade, is more in manufactured goods. Okay, as compared to our trade with the outside world, which is more with raw materials. Okay. Yes. So by just going by that, it means that the more we trade within ourselves, the more we build our manufacturing muscle. And if you check it, you will see that most of that trade is the small and medium scale people. So it's a very good thing for all of us. We know. Yes. But you see, somebody said that the devil lies in the details. All right. This is an agreement that's this is an agreement that's supposed to take care of goods, services, and what? People.
Movement of people.
Good. So that's what I'm saying. You see, I'm using ECOWAS as a sort of a reference point. Now, the question I asked about Nigeria is not to sort of single Nigeria out per se. It's just a way of pointing at a potential thing that can replicate. So in AfTA, you see that the bigger countries may decide to throw their weight around. Maybe the South Africans or the Kenyans or the Ghanaians. Yes. I hope you understand. Or the Egyptians. Did you understand what I'm saying? So
yes, I understand.
It's a way of just bringing out this thing, because a lot of the times our leaders sit in these conferences. So this is a good idea. Okay. Let us also do our own. But so it sounds good. It's announced. We start. Then we begin to walk into blocks and obstacles along the way. So, for example, in ECOWAS, we have free movement of people. It's possible for me to move from Ghana to Nigeria or Liberia without a passport. Very possible. Or with my ECOWAS passports.
Yes.
Which we all have now. Nigeria, we have it. Ghana, we also have it now. But along the same day, you discover, if you travel, especially by road, that on the way, you have to be tipping the gendarmes, the police, whatnot. Yeah, sir. You will discover that when it comes to the movement of goods across borders, the most frustrating part of moving goods is crossing borders within ourselves again. And I don't have any basis to think that it is different for the rest of our continent. If that's not all, I suspect it may be even be worse. Do you agree with what I'm saying? So
Yes, I understand.
I
If
am wondering,
I'm saying,
I am wondering
yes,
how the agreements. We have a number of engagements along these lines for our excuse me, our
sorry,
viewers and
sorry.
people who are listening to us on the podcast to gain more insight. But at a high level, you need to think. So how is this agreement going to take care of that? You see?
Okay, so let me say this for the agreement. You see, there has been discussions around things like this, and you know, sincerely, I will not lie to you. It's okay to report a case. It's another thing to get
Feedback,
people
resolution.
to get to get people who are saddled with that responsibility to execute a change that will actually remove that case. So the trade barriers for Africa, for instance, is one tool that will be used to report a lot of these things that you have seen. And the provisions of the agreement will now be used with the policymaker of that country, especially the country that is being reported,
Okay.
to know that under this trading bloc, they have to adjust, and they to avoid maybe if there are sanctions within the provision,
And
or there
then
is a need for further negotiation. I don't want to talk about that part now. You know why? You see, this thing, I won't lie to you, it's going to take years. And you cannot, number one, I would say you can't be afraid of what you've not seen. But at least we've seen some things at the regional level. But in after, it might have another blessing that we don't know. So what we will have to do is first of all,
every marriage is an act of faith because
it's an act of
every marriage is an act of faith.
uh,
From my point of view, because you see this person, you like that person, you say you're in love with that person, but you cannot tell the future, what the future
yes.
holds. That is why there are also divorces
Yes.
along the way.
Yes.
So you must,
Yes.
but everybody enters the marriage with the faith and the hope and the expectation that this one,
It will be fine.
yes. So yes, we have to because the benefits of being in it is more than the risks. But be that as it may, we also have to look at the risks. Maybe even try and learn from some experiences. So I'm just trying to raise issues that I know our viewers
There are
and
potential
listeners
issues.
are going to be thinking about.
Yes.
Uh-huh.
Another thing I would say is, apart
Mhm.
from this risk and what might happen, me as a businessman, I wouldn't lie to you. AfterConnect, for instance, AfterConnect.com, for instance, is an advocacy platform. It's not like I've collected a naira or a dollar from anyone to set up the platform and engage people or something. No. So this is it. I think more Africans should also be patriotic. And just like you setting up this meeting or this session, it's because you are patriotic and you have a positive mind towards it. And I also have a positive mind towards it. A lot of Africans will actually need to have a positive mind towards after. One. Two, they need to also take a part of it in any form, because this is going to happen, and this is going to happen for a while, hopefully a long while. So we need to key into it. We need to support it. It might just lead to that point where many of those things that that happened at the regional level will not be as prominent, and hopefully there will be countries will be called to order to make sure that, for instance, along the delivery routes, there shouldn't be people making trade not to flow, because you will notice that it doesn't, it's reduced if it's air and sea, because nobody will go and stay on water and be
Yes, but
collecting.
you see, the practical thing about that is that some of the people doing these things, let's be realistic, it's because they don't need to supplement their income. Yeah, sir. So, I mean, anybody who is into intracontinental trade knows that if you are shipping your goods across borders, part of the money you have to give to the drivers is for, let's say, pure water for the service people on the road. So everybody expects something small. Yeah, it's part of the pricing of their goods and services.
What will not happen?
But to reduce it, you see?
Yes. It has to really go down.
To say that they are going to eliminate it for now, I don't think so. You see, I'm just looking at the thing objectively, because
yes,
that as nations we begin to prosper more, and as our leaders, if God helps us and we help ourselves also, they begin to change their model where they don't hold the resources of our continent to themselves, which are very considerable, and the thing begins to filter down. Somebody who's satisfied will not be, I mean, do you understand what I'm saying? So
yes.
there's that. But
what I would say with that is that because this is a continental thing, it will be open through e-commerce platforms and co. And then with increased technology, I am hoping that we should have increased prosperity in Africa. And even these service people, their families can key into this project. But as I have said, for things to trickle down, there are two things too. Let's also believe that the level of corruption will reduce, one. Two, I will also say our people, maybe even the families of the service people, should key into some of these provisions so that prosperity will be increased, because increasing income it's everybody's right. So I believe there will be increased prosperity and everything will be fine by God's grace. Look at me here. I'm a Nigerian. I'm talking to you, a Ghanaian. It's about keying into things. It's about being friendly. It's about love for each other as Africans. It's not that maybe I'll now hear that I want to grant a. I've granted the interview to people in Cameroon, in now you in Ghana. But if I want to say I don't want to believe in the objective of this thing, then when somebody calls you from the other part of any other country, you turn it down because you just want to do your own nation alone. So that love for this thing, I think that culture and discussion should be also transferred to the servicemen so that they can key into this and we can all make this work.
Okay, so there is another thing that I want to talk about, ask questions about, which is logistics. With this, one of the key thing is standardization. Okay, standards, because if you are shipping tomatoes from, let's say, I don't know, Ghana to Cameroon, all right, there must be some standards.
Yes.
Which would determine quality, which also would then infer value. All right.
Yes.
Does this mean? For now, I've not read the documents. A lot of them. I read parts, but not the agreement, but not certain portions. Does this mean that there's going to be a continental standard that we can all use? So let's say if a product is certified in Kenya, that product can be used in Ethiopia, or Ethiopia, yeah, Eastern Africa, they do that already. Maybe in South Africa or Liberia or Tunisia, and the standard body of Tunisia will accept the standards from Kenya. Is that Is that
Okay,
that's
so
central? That's central to everything, I believe.
yes. So one of the, if I can remember very well, one of the stakeholders meeting for the after secretariat in Nigeria, this issue of standards were actually raised, and I know one of the things, two things were said. For instance, there are various standards. For instance, maybe food and non-food products. So for the food products, almost every country has a maybe Food and Drug Administration department. So this Food and Drug Administration department are going to come up with standards. They are going to keen into the, say, protocols of intellectual property and co, to come up with a very good standard to 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 generalize what is acceptable. Then you have because what the customs will do is to have specific certifications of what will be going out under this agreement, because we have to state it specifically that under this agreement, because it's not like what has been going on before will not go on. For instance, maybe it's not like people who ship in stuff from China before will not be able to ship stuff across Africa. No, but they will not be able to take advantage of this.
Yeah, but so that's why the rules of origin is important.
So, yes.
The question presumes that you're talking about
So
intra-African trade.
yes. So that standard that we are talking about now, one of the things that was said was also that there are some international standards that we use in Nigeria, for instance. But those standards are not made by African institutions. So some are from the Western world. So one of the things that the participant or one of the experts suggested was that Africa should try within the African Continental Free Trade Area to set a standardized institution or few institutions within Africa that will be used to certify those products. They will work with the local certification institutions to certify each product. So maybe, for instance, if you have a NAFDAC number on a product, you can then have a NAFDAC, that institution number 2, maybe by the site, or if you want to harmonize everything, you just assume that NAFDAC has done the work and you are okay with NAFDAC's work. So when the thing is entering Ghana, you believe that it has gone through sufficient certification. Then if it has any issue, there will be an instrument of communication within you and that institution to report that these things, they've not gone through we discovered at the other side that there isn't a good level of compliance, because compliance too will not be perfect, but it must be very high. The level of compliance must be very high.
All right. We're just trying to touch on things. We have spent a lot of time, but it's a very important topic. Now, you mentioned about external trade. What I do know is that some of us, as in countries on the continent, we have like free trade agreements with external non-African countries or regions or blocks. Okay.
Yes.
So how does that play into the Continental Free Trade Agreement? In the sense that we are aware of the rules of origin thing. All right. But it's possible there can be leakages. You get what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying?
Yes.
So
okay.
How does the agreement
recently that particular one, I just want to mention the little I know about it, and as at the last time, sometime around December, I think early December
of last year.
Yes, December last year. There was this online seminar I attended about the is an association for trade zones. There was a trade event about association of trade zones.
Okay.
So this question was brought up. Yes. Now you see, sincerely, that is being harmonized to really know what will really happen. And the reason is because, there are the major decision is, will they be part, those free trade zones and those agreements, will they be able to take advantage of African Continental Free Trade Area, or they will not? So, and when they are not, it means they will not be able to take advantage of it. So,
Yeah.
and it's because, so what they said then, what the expert said then was that it was not yet clear. That's what I heard then.
Okay.
If they will be allowed to merge it with this, and because of implications they think, and consequences of taking that action. But what I will say, you want to say something? Wanted to say something?
Yeah, I will say something, but you simply continue your train of thought. I don't want to interrupt.
Okay. So what I wanted to say is that we have to be very careful anything that will affect the rule of origin issue, because itself, the rule of origin stuff, tracking it itself is a thing of commitment by the people first, that maybe the SMEs and co that will take part in the African Continental Free Trade Area. Now, merging the trade zones, we have to be a little bit careful. At the end of the day, let us still let it go back to the normal rule for the rule of origin, so that our objective of raising more people that can produce made in Africa, or can creatively start innovating, or can bring the factories here, will still be met. But when we start, we just have to strike a balance, so that, because before you know it, everything will start. Once there's one, two, three loophole, a lot of things will happen. But if they see it as an opportunity to bring in investment and more jobs into Africa, I think we should allow that one, so that most of these things, since we even have many raw materials, we'll be able to take advantage of that within our space here, and add value
The problem
to a lot of our products.
the problem that I see with all this the rule of origin thing, and the reason why I ask that question is because, you see,
Yes.
our colonial heritage. We see that even in our sub-region here, Ghanaians and Nigerians, we are practically speaking brothers.
They are what?
I said Ghanaians and Nigerians, we are practically speaking brothers. We fight, we understand ourselves. I hope you understand.
Yes.
So
Yes.
there is two countries between us, Benin and Togo. Yes, but Nigeria is more apt to move from Nigeria, cross Benin, cross Togo, and come to Ghana, and vice versa. You get what I'm saying? So
Yes.
the British and that legacy means that when it comes to trade, we are a certain way. The Francophones and their Francophone legacy means that when it comes to trade, they're also a certain way. And they also have their own trade deals and whatnot.
Okay. Yeah.
And
Yes.
moreover, when you come to the intent of the free trade agreement, you see that without producing to anybody, Africa, we have the resources, okay, and we are going to have the population, young, vibrant, energetic. The only two challenges are whether they are they are going to be educated enough or trained enough. And number two, financing and know-how. You get what I'm saying? So if you play around with the rule of origin issue, what may happen is that we may just end up continuing the legacy of the past 200 years. I hope you get what I'm saying. Maybe yes, in a more refined form, but it will still be the same thing. Whereas if we find a way either to come out for some of these trade agreements or whatever it is, it will help us. Like I said, the trade within amongst Africans is more in manufactured goods as compared to the trade with the outside world. It's a simple calculus.
I understand.
They understand what I'm saying. Anyway,
yes. But what I will say is that let's look at how we can make things better. It's always, every day presents an opportunity for us to make a change to whatever has been happening. You see, the world of trade, and thank God, education has really improved. Access to things. Look at me and you communicating over the internet. Any African that is highly interested in educating him or herself, we really know that there are opportunities now. So I will say people are more enlightened now. Let's do things together. Let's collaborate, and let's just make our continent great. And let's see how we can make things better for ourselves. First, it's very key. And through this African Future Day, we can do a whole lot of it. Hopefully, by God's grace, everything will be fine.
Anyway, Idris, yeah. So lastly, tell us a bit more about AfricaNEV. No, let me reverse that. Hold on, let me reverse that. Tell us a bit more about yourself and how you ended up starting AfricaNEV first.
For me, basically, okay. So me, I will only say something few about myself. I'm based in Lagos. I'm a Muslim, and then I'm an e-commerce person, trained computer scientist. I've been doing e-commerce for like 9 years, so I major in the e-commerce space. But also, transitioning between e-commerce, you have to know about trade in one way or the other. So that got me into knowing about trade a bit, and increasing my interest in that. Then AfricaNEV Free Trade Area came along, but I discovered just one thing: many people don't know about AfricaNEV Free Trade Area. And if people don't know about something, they can't take advantage of it. And our people, because of, for instance, I was involved in how e-commerce also spread a little bit in Nigeria. So when things are coming up, still today some people will tell you e-commerce, can people buy and sell online? But it's becoming a household thing, and people are now taking opportunities, logistic opportunities, packaging, digital marketing, platforms, web design, product development, and co. But when this thing started at the marketplace level like 6-7 years ago, but on the platform levels like 9 years ago, people didn't take it seriously. People were like, whatever I want to buy, I will see it in my local market. But now they found out that anything scarce, they can find it online and they get it. I've sold products today. These are scarce products, you understand? And people need to get their corporation moving, and they can get some of it from me. So the same thing can happen in the AfricaNEV Free Trade Area by merging trade and e-commerce. So AfricaNEV actually gives knowledge around a little bit of SME knowledge, a little bit of e-commerce knowledge, a little bit of trade knowledge, but with a focus on after, as just getting people to know the right thing from the right sources. You understand, the authorized sources. Because another thing is getting one thing is getting information. Another thing is getting information from the right source. So, and also we tell them we are not, we don't work for any of this thing. We don't get involved in politics or anything. Our own is whatever new provision has come out, use it. Then also you can liaise with your secretariat. They are the one that have the biggest repository of information as regards after in your country, because various countries will be different. So, and the platform cannot answer you for every country in Africa, but we can link you with basic information and strategies that can help you. Then also we share ideas about maybe a little bit of digital marketing skills, and more of how to list your product, how to get stuff done at the e-commerce level. Then the after provisions that can let you practicalize everything by putting it together and doing your business.
Okay,
So that's what we do.
For those listening to us and watching us, I'll have the links to the After Connects, their links below in the description. So just go down there, you will see things. But Idris, how can we locate After Connects? Okay. Practically speaking, how can we hook into the community?
Okay, so the community, because of the way it is for now, the community is available on WhatsApp, it's available on Telegram, it's available on social media. I think that's Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook in that order of priority. Not much of a website for now. So the engagements are also controlled so that it's just a new thing coming up. We want only the vital and true information out there. So the Telegram group is very much open, and we have WhatsApp groups. So the few people who want to know more about AfricaNEV Free Trade Area can come in. Yeah, okay. We also have a newsletter, email newsletter. So the important that goes out once a week. So the important part are activities of a week, and anything new will go out in the newsletter. So if you've not had time to come into the social media or the chat communities, the newsletter will get to you too. So you don't miss out on something. It's just multiple access to information, and everything has to do with just human capacity development and having more information about AfricaNEV Free Trade Area, so that the opportunities can reach more people and they can take advantage of it.
Okay, folks. I am part of the After Connect. I highly encourage you to join. For those of us in the sustainable energy and transport space, this is very, very vital. After is very, very vital to unleashing the full potential of sustainable energy for our continent. That if you are thinking about doing business in Africa, a certain skill you cannot fail to consider after. So please, thank you very much, Idris, for joining us.
Thank you for having me.
It has been a marathon one. We'll be having you back again to talk about the customs documents and whatnot. I'm sure you have a number of engagements, maybe 6 or 10 before between 6 and 10 before the year is out, so that we can flesh out the whole continental free trade area.
Thank you very much.
Have a wonderful day. Bye.